Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of my indie game devlog. If you're new to the channel, make sure to check out my earlier videos to see how this project started and how far it's come. So, what have I been working on over the last 2 weeks? Quite a lot actually. Let me show you. At the end of my last video, I mentioned that I want to add my first NPC, and I did it. Say hello to this minor character. When I interact with him, I can now choose to either sell my items or buy some of his. The best part, everything is functional. If I sell something, I get gold. If I buy something, it gets added to my inventory instantly. It's a small feature, but it makes the game world feel more alive and interactive. And it's the first step to creating a real in-game economy. Next up, I finally gave the machines that I made a while back an actual purpose. I hope you remember which one I'm talking about. I mean this little yellow fellow over here. They can now automatically collect the items they produce and store them in their own internal inventory. This means they now help the player passively gather resources. Those items can then be sold to the miner, speeding up progress and making automation way more valuable. Now let's switch gears. Let's talk about something every game needs, and which is the first thing that you see when you open a new game. It's a proper start menu. So I designed a simple loading screen with options to start the game, exit the game, or just change some settings. I haven't made that part yet, but I will in the future. As you can also see, I have the title of my game here, but I haven't decided on a name yet. I'm holding off until the core identity and vibe of the game are more solidified. But if you've got any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Drop a comment below with your suggestions for a title for my game. Once you start the game, you can now open a brand new menu to inspect your player's stats and skill progress. Instead of creating one massive skill tree like in Path of Exile or Diablo 2, I chose a much simpler system to not overwhelm the player. Each skill, like mining or combat or exploring maybe, has its own separate menu with unique levels and rewards. This way, the player can focus on what they enjoy. If they're more into combat, they can focus on that more without feeling overwhelmed by having to do 100 different skills. I also implemented that depending on the items that you select or equip, your stat changes. Different weapons now offer different damage values and attack speeds. So if you equip a faster weapon, it actually affects your character's stats and increases attacking speed, for example. As for progression, players now gain experience when they mine or defeat enemies. Once a certain skill level is reached, a glowing yellow button appears. Press it and you can collect its reward. Claim the rewards turn blue, showing your progress visually and clearly. I think it's simple, satisfying, and gives a real sense of growth. That brings me to the combat system, which I'll be honest, sucks. No other way to say it. It just sucks. Enemies just dealt flat damage over time, like 10 HP, and there was no calculation for things like defense or critical hits. It was super basic and didn't scale well at all. So I scrapped it completely and rewrote the system from the ground up. Now, every attack runs a damage calculation. Critical hits have a chance to trigger based on your crit chance, that, and they deal extra damage. Here's the logic. It's quite simple. A random number is generated between 1 and 0. And if it's lower than your crit chance, you land a crit. So if you have a higher crit chance, you have a higher chance that this random generated number is lower, which simply means you have a higher chance of landing a crit. It's more dynamic, more scalable, and it opens the door to stats like defense, crit damage, and many more things. Finally, I made sure that leveling up your skills actually benefits your player stats. Let's take mining as an example. After mining a few gold ores, which you can see me doing in the background, I hit level 1 in mining and claim my reward, plus 1 defense. Now, as you can see in the stats, I have 1 defense, which will mean that I take less damage from enemies. Same with combat. After defeating some slimes, I reach level 1 in combat and gain plus 1% crit chance. These bonuses stack over time, giving players more incentive to grind, explore, and get stronger. So, what's next? I want to revisit the NPC and give him a proper quest system. So before you can trade with him, you'll have to complete a task first. That way, unlocking the shop feels earned and adds some progression to the game, as well as some game lore. And I also want to start building a furnace, so players will be able to smelt raw ores into refined materials, like turning gold ore into gold bars. Something that will sell for a higher price to the NPCs, so there's an actual purpose in smelting the items. Well, that's it for this devlog. Thanks for watching. If you got suggestions for features I should add or a cool name idea for the game, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Until then, bye bye.